That is, of course, an exclusive interview with CLS, and we'll keep on playing it through the day as well. Get you snippets about what the brokerage believes is likely to be the India growth story. But growth, indeed, coming for Dabur India, not just from the Indian markets, but predominantly from the international markets as well. And they've taken a step further. They've bought a US haircare company, Namaste Laboratories, and all the 3 subsidiaries for close to $100 million. It's an all-cash deal. But what does this do for the company? Let's go across to Mr. Anand Verman, Chairman of Dabur India, who joins us live from Delhi right now to talk about that and a lot more. Thanks so much for joining in, Mr. Verman, and congratulations firstly on this deal. Now, Namaste is the second
Thank you very much.
Namaste is the second overseas acquisition that you've done in less than a quarter. When we talked 6 months ago, you said that there would be a string of pearls strategy. Is this the last, or are there many more to come?
Well, it's definitely not the last. I don't know how many more there will be. It depends on many factors. But what we see happening going forward is that, we are looking at various different markets and various different market segments to, in the FMCG space.
Right. Mr. Berman, could you give us more details about this company, Namaste Laboratories, $100 million in terms of the valuation comparison, what are the kind of sales and profits it generates?
Yeah, okay. Namaste Labs has sales of about $93 million. So the $100 million acquisition is about 1.1 times revenues. And it has an EBITDA of about 12 million and change.
Is it profitable at tax level, after tax?
Absolutely. It's EPS accretive from day one.
Okay, tell us what it does for your presence in the US haircare market. How much are you expecting by way of a scale up in that business, and how much do you see as a percentage of your overall sales coming from that market?
Right now, the Namaste Labs has about 70% of its sales from the US market. Going forward, we don't expect that to change. We expect actually that to come down a little bit, because we do expect sales in sub-Saharan Africa and in the Middle East, North Africa region to expand substantially.
Mr. Berman, what happens in terms of integration? Both ways. What does Namaste do to the local portfolio of Dabur products? And how would Namaste's products be utilized in the local domestic market? Is there a sense that you have going ahead for the next 2 quarters?
Namaste products in the local market, we see that as a little bit of a stretch for the time being. Yeah. Although there's a lot of use of hair straighteners within the Indian market, we expect that to come in at a relatively slow pace. However, we do see Namaste products going into the African market, into our African markets, where we have a fairly strong presence in a fairly large and concerted manner.
How about Dabur India's local products being sold through the Namaste distribution channel that might be there in the US?
That's work in progress right now, even as we speak.
And I was just looking at your Q2 numbers. My researcher just dug out some numbers. The international business for Dabur India in Q2 has done exceedingly well compared to the local domestic business. How would the contribution from the international businesses shape up over the next 2 quarters compared to the domestic business?
Well, I'd rather not talk about numbers per se, but we do see the growth trend continue.
Right, maybe not numbers, but perhaps give us a ballpark sense about the kind of revenue breakup you see from across regions over the next perhaps 4 quarters, if not 2. How do you see it scaling up over the next 1 year or so?
Okay, let's talk about our international revenues in terms of this acquisition. Okay, what we see happening, we have currently sales of about $30-odd million in Africa, which includes North Africa as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. We expect this to increase by at least a third over the next year due to this acquisition.
In that light, what is the strategy about expanding the overseas business? Are you now looking, because your strategy is the US markets and the African markets, are you looking at scaling up? Are you looking at more acquisitions? Can we hear more such announcements over the next 2 quarters?
Well, you've got to sort of watch the space for that. It's too early to talk about new acquisitions within this area. So basically watch the space.
Which we will do, Mr. Burman. Okay, a couple of questions really. One is, if indeed you have plans for acquiring more companies, which you said that this is not the last one, are there any fundraising plans on the anvil in order to keep yourself funded for the proposed acquisitions?
No, not really, no. We will do this through internal accruals and borrowings up to a sensible level. Great.
That ruled out. One word on price increases in the domestic market, because a lot of your peers have said that there are input cost pressures, one, and two, there is room for price increases because there is some bit of spending from the consumer wallet as well. Are you contemplating any price increases or further price increases to the ones that you already may have taken?
Well, we'll be very prudent about it. At the end of the day, we don't want to put the consumer under too much pressure. So we'll be very prudent, and wherever it's necessary, we may take a price increase. But I can't rule out any price increases for the time being as such.
So, fair enough. But which is my point? If you look at the second quarter numbers as well, there has been a bit of a dip or a bit of a pressure on the margins. Would that prompt you to increase prices in the next couple of months?
In a couple of product areas, yes, we may take a price increase. But, fortunately, we have such a wide portfolio that a price increase in one area may not really, result in squeezing of margins overall.
So what is the outlook that you can offer investors in terms of an overall margin picture?
The overall margin picture, we expect it to be relatively stable, I think.
Okay.
Because basically the bad news has been pretty much priced in.
So you do not expect any margin contraction at all?
Well, not too much, let me put it that way.
Fair call, Mr. Burman. Congratulations on this acquisition, and of course, talk to you hopefully sooner, as and when you make some more of these. Thanks so much for taking the time.
All right, thank you very much.
That's Dabur India on the $100 million acquisition. The stock up 1.5%. Take a break on that note, come back and talk to a couple of other mid-cap companies. Some of these have seen brokerage upgrades as well. We'll find out why brokerages like them and what the management have to say in a bit.